Welcome to the Healing Sexual Trauma Summit. I am Marcy Little, your host, and here with us today we have Tamica Wilder. Tamica, welcome.
Thank you. Hi, Marcy.
Hi, so good to have you. Okay, before I tell you more about Tamica and what she does and how amazing she is, we'll just take a moment to get centered, like we do at the start of all of these talks. So it's an invitation. Yeah. Ooh, I like that, actually. That's nice. So we'll follow you here. And we'll put a hand on the heart. Yeah, and I'll put a hand on the belly. Yeah, and you can let out a sound as you start to get into your body. Get into the breath. Feel free to close the eyes. Yeah, move the neck or the head or anything around that's calling to you. I love it. And sound, I find, is a fast way to get right back into the body, into where you're at. And there's stuff that just needs expressing that has not had a chance to come out. So how you doing over there, Tamica?
I'm doing great.
You're doing great? Awesome.
Yeah. It's, I actually find this beautiful kind of winding around is part of a big one of my habits when I'm getting present in my somatic self.
Great. So we can do that too. Brings the energy right down into the pelvis, right where we want it. Good. Okay. So for our viewers, just an invitation that at any point, as you're listening to Tamica and I talk, if you're starting to feel overwhelmed in any way or tight in your body or having a hard time getting a breath, or you're just suddenly feeling like I've got to get out of here, please take care of yourself. Take a pause. Get up, move your body, pet your dog, make some tea, come back to it when you're ready. Any other suggestions, Tamica?
They all sound like really great ideas. Yeah.
Okay,
Time.
All right. Okay, so Tamica Wilder. Number one, that's a fantastic name, and I love your last name.
Thank you.
Seems quite fitting for you.
Doesn't it? I know.
Yeah.
I reclaimed one of my my grandmother's name. And my family's from part of my family's from America, from the States, and a portion of my family were on the Wilder plantation when slavery was abolished, and so that's how we got our name. And yeah, my dad was born from another dad, but got lumped in with the other surname. So I never felt my old surname, and so I took back my grandmother's surname. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
A matrilineal connection.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. All right. So Tamica Wilder, aka the Orgasmic Mama, is a Melbourne-based sexologist and multi-qualified therapist. The deep passion for teaching moms how to reconnect with their pleasure and sexuality. Tamica's work arms women with the tools needed to create lasting and meaningful change inside their intimate relationships, and reminds us of what's possible inside our full and authentic sexual expression. Tamica delivers online workshops, courses, and limited one-on-one and couples sessions. So there's a little bit about Tamica. And Tamica, is there anything more you'd like us to know about you? I mean, I know I'm curious about how you got here.
Yes. Yeah. Sure. A bit about how I got here. You know, it's crazy. It's just like something that I feel like I've been leading up to my entire life. My whole life, I've had a sign on my head saying safe person to talk about gnarly shit with, safe person to talk about intense things with, safe person to talk about sex with. This person won't judge me. It's feedback I've been getting my whole life. Like, wow, I'm the person that sits on the train, and when the kind of overwhelmed homeless person gets on the train, is all like drunk and messed up, they will come and sit next to me and we're cool. And everyone's on the train looking at me like, how did she calm him down?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's just, so it's been in my nature. And also I guess I was in spaces a lot where and different trainings and workshops and some of my education where it was the expectation that we were pushing our comfort zone and really finding our resilient edges, finding our limits. And so I guess doing lots of personal development, it then was like the last piece or the big piece, the crescendo, and where I am comfy is really talking about our sexuality, because it's a very still taboo and it's very pushed under the carpet, even in the most progressive personal development realms. And so, yeah, it was just the obvious progression.
Awesome. Yeah, you mentioned that word. You put together in the same sentence taboo and sexuality. And if you add the word sexual trauma to taboo and sexuality, it just exponential growth in how taboo that seems to become still, even though we've, it's out there. It still seems to be a big taboo. So what made you want to be part of the Healing Sexual Trauma Summit specifically? Yeah.
Yeah, there have been lots of summits, as we briefly chatted about before, but I feel like sexual trauma particularly is close to home for me, having experienced my own sexual trauma and other traumas. And working with the people that I work with, there's a common factor in loads of us, which is that we've experienced sexual trauma, like many, many hundreds of thousands, millions of us. And it's like, there's a connection between us being able to really emancipate ourselves from the sexually oppressive culture and the sexual trauma that lots of people are experiencing. Because I feel like when we free up and when we actually lift the lid and heal sexuality in general, then we will see a decrease in the trauma. So yeah, it's very important to me.
Okay, thanks for sharing that. That's great. Okay. So we have a few things that we were going to talk about today. And the first thing was honoring your how honoring your past is important if you want to fully claim your orgasmic future.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is something I talk about a fair bit. And especially in my book that I just released in June, it's a lot about looking back over your life. I meet people who are like, okay, I want to do something, my sex isn't here, I don't feel great in my body, I don't know what it feels like to be in my body, I feel nervous and anxious and completely shut down when I'm trying to engage with my partner, who happens to be my best friend and the safest person in the world, so why can't I engage, right? Yes. And so we have to turn and face all of the things that we are carrying with us into those scenarios, into the bedroom, into relationships, into conversations and culture, into our parenting. Because while we leave all of those unexplored and unexamined, it's unconsciously coming with us anyway, right? So to turn and go, okay, where did I get that belief that I am too much or not enough, or I don't look good, or I'm not allowed to make sounds, or I'm not allowed to actually articulate my needs or desires? Where did I get that belief that masturbation is dirty? Where did I get that belief? And it's all in the past. It's from our parents, it's from pop culture, it's from media. You might have had a boyfriend or a partner at some point in your life that said something to you, one sentence that was a hypnotic message, and you've remembered it for the last 15 years, and you just don't realize that you're bringing it into your interactions. So yeah, turning to face the past is step number one, or right at the top of the list. Otherwise, we're just band-aiding and we're still in avoidance of the things that we're carrying with us. So it's an honoring not to forget, it's an honoring to remember, take with us what is going to be helpful and things that we need, and really letting go of the things that belong in the past. So lightening the load.
How do you do that? How do you let it go?
Well, I feel like we're all on it depends on the individual, and there's like a sliding scale along this work. I don't feel like you ever completely let something go, because that's our story, right? And story is actually so important. We live our lives through narratives all the time. The stories we tell about ourselves, our tribe tells about us, the community, that is who we live into. So it's not about completely letting go or forgetting. It's about being really discerning around the beliefs.
Mm.
So you might do that through things like journaling and really kind of high quality meditations and having conversations with people in your past that need to hear your new voice, writing new narratives, like literally writing new stories, which is, I know another question or another kind of topic that we want to talk about at some point. And I feel like depending on who's listening to this, there is no one size fits all. There is not a prescription. But there is always an invitation, because you know which bits you need to leave behind, or you need to, I liked this analogy, which is like a memory could be in full color, like vivid, like popping full color. And that has, it has a pull on you, the amygdala and the hippocampus, those parts of our brain responsible for memories and emotions, that is like firing up at times, trying to keep us safe. So when we can take those vivid memories and emotions and turn them to black and white, we put them like, we make them the old school photos. So it's like, it's still part of my story, but it doesn't have a hold on me, these parts of my brain trying to keep me safe. It's not pulling me back in time. I'm just honoring it, looking at it, and I can walk forward with, relative freedom. Yeah.
So let's see. So what I'm hearing you say is like these past experiences, and I'm going to use some of my own language here if it's okay, and you'll see how it works for you, that live in us, in our bodies. And also you mentioned the hippocampus, the place where emotions and memories are activated or stored. Or, somehow when we work with them in a kind of way and we don't avoid them, we look at them, and there are different things you named, like journaling or deep meditation practice, or things ways of sort of
feeling them.
Feeling the feelings.
Yeah.
Right. Feeling the feelings. And it sounds like the more that you're saying, the more that we do that, the less vivid and in color they are. And the more they turn into sort of a black and white, and then they don't have the same level of
charge, pull.
Yeah.
Authority over the here and now, because we don't realize those moments do have authority in the here and now. You think, oh no, I'm confident, I'm easygoing, like I can do this is good. And then actually, sticky point, stuck moment, can't. I thought I could, but why is my body not on board in the same way? It's because those moments still do have a pull and a charge. And being able to experience them in safe places, like re-experience those emotions, talk about those emotions, it gives the body and the brain a new reference point for safety. So it's like, even though that did happen to me, when I feel this here and now, and then reaffirm, oh no, I'm safe, I'm held, I can be calm. We're giving our body a different experience of those old moments.
Yeah. For someone like me, like my first sexual trauma happened before I had words. I had developed language, so for a long time. And then I had, there was like a period of, there were many instances. So it wasn't like there was just one with different people and in different contexts and stuff.
Yeah.
And coming from a lineage of incest. So it's sort of like, there's also that ancestry that it lives in, which is a big piece. So it was like, for me, often like my body would respond just the way you said, in a safe, what seemed like a safe environment. It's like, and I couldn't always, and I didn't always know why. Yeah. And there was no memory. It was just my body's memory. So in that way, it's like, well, then what? If I don't have the memory, if I don't have a feeling, I just have this thing happening, and I can't talk it out, can't make it go away. Then what? Yeah.
But you can move it out, you can breathe it out, you can sound it out. We love attaching meaning and story. So it's like, oh, I don't have a memory, so then what? I don't have language. Oh no. It's like, no, actually you have the most important language, which is the language of your body. And that's why you still have that memory. The embodied memory is really the only memory. This is where we store everything that ever happens to us in our soma, right? Yeah. So the body can never betray us in that way. Even if you don't have language or you can't remember, whatever you feel to be true in your body that's occurring for you, like that's the truth.
Yeah.
You know, and
Body
that's like,
doesn't lie.
yeah, it doesn't lie. And so somatic therapy is like, we need to do it in conjunction with talk therapy if that's your thing, but the body processing things on our behalf is the most magic.
It is.
Haven't you found?
I have found.
Yeah.
I sure have, and that's also what I love to offer to others.
Yeah.
So thanks for answering that cool question.
Mm.
How to work in harmony with your body and nervous system to increase pleasure and sensation. Yeah, can you speak to that? Working
Yeah.
in harmony.
Work in harmony with the body. So it's like when I use the word soma or somatic, meaning through and of the body, right? So it kind of goes on from what we were just talking about. We are pretty chronically disembodied. I say we as in like Western society, the world, the modern world. We rely heavily on language, cognition, being right and wrong, getting a tick, being on the computer. There's a rigidity in the way that we live our lives. And it is an act of rebellion to chain yourself from that rigid way of being and actually get into the body and move and sound and breathe and touch and place your awareness somatically. So building sensation, building more pleasure, building more orgasmicity, being really in touch with your pleasure in ways that have nothing to do with the mind mean that we need to get the nervous system on board. We need to reinforce safety, and we do that somatically. So things like shallow breathing. So a lot of us would be like breathing out our neck and our shoulders. And perhaps if you're watching this, like just take a breath or just notice the way that you're breathing. It usually is quite shallow, unless you take a conscious breath and you're really feeling where your breath's moving in your body, chances are it's going to be quite shallow. So that inside of our nervous system is like more of a sympathetically dominant breath, meaning the arm of our nervous system responsible for things like fight and flight and stress, and it's an upregulated way of being.
Getting things done on your to-do list.
Getting things done. This is where most of us hang out most of the day, right?
Yeah, right.
So building more parasympathetic kind of patterns in the body and having more of a parasympathetic invitation for yourself more often is things like meditating, going more slowly, deep breathing, placing your awareness on aspects of your sensation. And these are really, really unpracticed parts of being in our human body. Yeah. And it can be really frustrating because, like, what do you mean, place my awareness on my belly? Do that. I get it. It's a practice. But yeah, this is how we self-soothe. So again, like, I feel like as a kid, we were told to stop wiggling, sit still, don't say that, don't speak too loudly. What are you doing? Put your hands where I can see them. Like all of this kind of stuff. That disembodies us. It takes us away from our natural states of being in the body. So think about wiggling, dancing, stretching, moaning, crying, screeching, scrunching up your face, letting go, letting your belly fall soft, letting your shoulders drop, whirling your hips, bouncing up and down. Take your hair out, loosen up.
Yeah.
Your wrists, your fingers. There's like so many options, but it requires us getting a bit weird, actually. Like, to be in our body means not being necessarily liked, definitely not being understood, definitely not caring what other people think of us. Sometimes if I'm in the line at the supermarket and I decide to have a big sigh or a big breath or, bend down and stretch my legs or something, because I do all this quirky shit and I don't care because it's my life and my body and I choose to be an embodied being. I know how important it is. People are like, oh, tough, or oh, that was a big sigh, and it's like, yeah,
yes, it was.
like, yeah,
you should try it.
You know how to breathe.
Like totally. Try it?
I say things like, yeah, breathing is a really great idea. Because we're just not used to it. So it is definitely it's a little bit bold and rebellious, but it's Very important.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know if that answered that question.
No, it did. It was great. And it was fun too.
Yeah.
Thanks. I want to stand next to you in line.
Yes. We can stand together and sway and rock. Because that's another thing. Our nervous systems, we need to link up with other humans. Like that's part of what helps regulate as well. So to stand opposite someone and take a breath, stare in each other's eyes, it's literally our systems link up and go, oh, you're safe. Oh, you're safe. Oh, you're safe. And we are telling each other we're safe. And these things obviously at the moment are less and less, happening less and less, which is actually terrifying to me. But
You mean
yes.
because of the pandemic?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So was there ever a time when you were standing in line at the grocery store and you took a big breath and you started, just moving and getting into your body, that you co-regulated with another person in line? They were like, yeah, that looks good. I'm going to try that too.
Definitely not. That hasn't.
Definitely not. Okay, so we'll know we've arrived. We'll know we've arrived when that starts happening all the time.
Right? Yeah, yeah. Maybe at a festival or like a music concert or something. If there's someone else that's like, hey, yeah, I can get into this, then yeah, where all the quirkies hang out, and sure, but yeah.
I love it. All right, I want to ask you another question. So you alluded to it earlier about rewriting your sexual story and scripts and hitting the reset button on expired or limiting beliefs. I want to hear what you have to say about that, Tamika.
So again, I go into this a fair bit in my book, Wild Honey. This idea that we are the stories that we tell about ourselves. If I asked anyone, if I said to you, so tell me, who are you sexually? Tell me about who you are. That's kind of a tricky question. People would be like, well, I don't know. I feel pretty shy and nervous and anxious, and I'm not really quite sure about how to show up. I just feel like I'm not really up for it a lot, and I don't feel much in my body, and I just feel really scared. What if I could just live my whole life without having sex anymore? I feel sorry for my husband or my partner because they try and initiate a lot and I'm not really not into it, and blah, 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 blah. And it's all really dense and uncertain and sad and not where you want to be, right? So an invitation I pose at times is like, okay, so imagine that you could create any version of self, sexual self, embodied self, confidently expressed self. Just imagine for a second and write it down. Who are you? Who is she? How does she behave? How do you move? How do you breathe? How do you sound? How do you walk in the world? What color clothes do you wear? What are your favorite smells? How do you treat your body? How do you eat? How do you stretch? How do you exercise? How do you self-talk? Like, there's a whole realm of possibility. And usually what people have to do is they have to look outside of their current reality and look at someone who they perceive has something they want. So everyone has this thing where it's like you're walking down the street and there's a person, I'll use the example of a woman because we might have all seen this woman before, and she's just walking. And it seems like she's just parting the sidewalk, right? You've seen those women where they're just like, posture.
Owning. Yes.
Like heart open and just like gliding. And it's like this untouchable yet super welcoming, warm, she's probably ovulating and like, possibly. But it's like, they're really sexy. They're really, wow. They've got all this stuff that I don't. Well, to write your new narrative, you need to engage like your hologram of that woman or that person and step into her and imagine how does she pleasure? What does she think and feel and believe about pleasure, about herself, about relationship, etc., all the things I had before. And then you write it down. Now, this is not like a magic potion where you write it down and then the next morning you wake up as her. However,
it's not. No.
It's not.
Darn it.
But it acts as a spell that you use as a tool continually to guide you back to the work that you are set on doing to become her. Because every day, every moment that you can choose that person, that hologram, is a step closer toward embodying, becoming believing, behaving, speaking as her, sharing as her, interacting with the world as that person. We need to have a guiding light to keep us on the path of pleasure and embodiment, because actually the world is geared against it. So if you don't have a really solid new narrative to help as your ally, then you'll flip away from pleasure and embodiment, because the world's not set up for you to actually opt into it. You get told you're selfish, it's not important, it's flippant, that's not a priority, the kids are more important, your work is more important, that's something bonus, extra. Oh, that's a little bit slutty if you do that. Or, oh, really? You're going to do that instead of clean the kitchen? Hell yeah, I am.
I love how your eyes just went like, looked over here and back when you're like, hell yeah, I am. And over and back's like,
yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Totally. So anyway, yes, this story is a important flame to carry.
Yeah. Yes. I study body language, in the somatic work, just as you probably do too. So I'm really enjoying the way your body speaks, Tamica. And then just a moment ago, you brought that fist up. It's like, in a way, it's like we have to fight for this. Yeah. It's not given. It's not just offered. And in fact, it's like, unless we have a real clear commitment to this path, then we're not going to get there.
That's right. Yeah, we do have to fight for it, inside of ourselves as well, and externally. It's and I guess this is kind of part of that building new beliefs thing as well. We have to examine the beliefs that we hold about our sexuality and our past and our future moving forward. If you believe that this is not for you, if you believe that you can't, if you believe you're not allowed, or you're not entitled, or you're not deserving of pleasure and a fully embodied sense of self, the beliefs we have to examine firstly, and that's the first step in changing a belief, is knowing that it's there in the first place.
Right. It's like operating unconsciously, and yet it's like driving our car.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So I think we're going to wrap up here. And Tamica, it's been such a pleasure to talk with you.
You too, Marcy. Thanks so much for having me. I love doing this. I love speaking in this way. And I feel really grateful to be invited. So thank you.
Yeah, we're so glad to have you. All right. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.